Hello and welcome back to the GameStar Season 2 qualifiers for Heroes of the Storm in Australia and New Zealand. We are into week 3 and this is the last round of the night. It is going to be between Nomia and the Lleyton Hewitt fan club, and it is going to be on Dragonshire, so very fun way to finish off the night. And it is going to be the blue side that gets the first pick and the first ban, so I have to see how that influences what they're wanting to go towards. Is Dragonshire does prioritize global pressure, so the Falstad and the Dahaka options that do pop up quite frequently in Dragonshire drafts. We'll have to see when Nomia, if Nomia do manage to go and take one of those away right off the bat, but we'll have to see where they go. There's quite a few options when it comes to compositions that you can go with when it comes to Dragonshire. But we'll have to see. Nomia have pretty much dominated the entirety of the day. They've had they had a bit of a mishap last week, managing to drop a game against Morton's List, but today they have been all business, just cleaning through every game that they have had, and they'll look to finish off the day as cleanly as they started it against the Lleyton Hewitt fan club. And it is going to be the Arthur's first ban, whereas on the side of the Hewitt fan club, they are going to be hovering the Falstad ban as well, so wanting to take away some of the global pressure, but that will leave the Dahaka available. Or they could ban the Dahaka, and that would leave the Falstad available. So either way, it's going to be leaving up at least one global for the side of Nomia for them to work with. There we go, it is going to be a Dahaka ban. I would not be too surprised to see the Falstad picked right away from Nomia, as they do play around the global pressure quite well, and just the Falstad play is very strong on their team. But it is going to be the Valor first pick, a very strong in the hands of John on Nomia, and this may even bait out a Tassadar pick for the Hewitt fan club, not wanting to allow that Tassadar to go over to Nomia, but also they don't necessarily have the best tools to work with it. If they were to take away the Tassadar, they'd probably have to pick up something like a Tracer or a Greymane, but they are going to have to pick up those double support right away. The Malfurion, a very strong combination with the Tassadar. They work together quite well, but as mentioned, they don't have the Valor, so they'll have to look towards a different auto-attack hero to get the most value out of that pick. But that, I think Nomia will be very much expecting that takeaway, and we'll have to see where they go, how they feel about the rest of the draft. It's going to be the Oriole pickup, just trying a few different things, I guess, coming into these last few games. And they feel very comfortable bringing out this composition here. I mean, it's a very strong combination, the Valor and the Oriole. Just the sustained damage coming out of a Valor does. It's a very good hope engine for the Oriole to keep on pumping out a lot of those heals. But let's see where else they go with this draft, because that's just two of the heroes, and it's still very flexible to where they can go with next. It's actually going to be the Xayah, so already an incredibly strong trio on the side of Nomia. The Xayah, this is pretty much the first time I've seen Xayah tonight, because it was banned last week due to a bug, but this week it just hasn't really been played. It's been banned a few times, but we're finally able to see the Xayah onto the game, or into the draft, I guess, and it is going to be a very, very significant pick for them to work with. And now we're into the second bans. Hewitt fan club take away the ETC, not wanting to deal with that. And Nomia, they still have so much to work with. They could even take away something like a Greymane, just limit the options to work with the Tassadar even more, or even the Tracer if they want to just get rid of that as well. But there's still quite a lot of the composition of Hewitt fan club that is still under wraps and still yet to be determined. So quite a few options that Nomia can go with these bans, but it's actually going to be the Johanna, not wanting to allow that over. So a bit of a warrior priority when it comes to the bans. 4 of them taken away. And it's actually going to be the Muradin picked up right after the second ban phase for Hewitt fan club. And now we have to see if they want to go into a double warrior and go into a super high sustained damage at the end, or if they want to just have Muradin as the solo tank and move into double DPS, which is probably one of the more reliable options. Having the double warrior and only the single DPS, it's not the most reliable and most consistent types of compositions, but it's going to be a bit of both, as we do get the Ragnars who will be able to stand on the front line for a bit and deal a fair amount of damage, and with this double support should be able to stick around for a fair bit and make it very hard for Nomia to deal with. But if anyone knows how to deal with a Tassadar composition, I think it'd be Nomia. They have played with it quite well and are very aware of where it excels, where it's weak, and how to play with and against it. So have to see how they finish off their draft. There's still probably going to be another tank, a frontline tank for them to pick up. Maybe something like a Diablo. There's quite a few options taken away. There's something like the Nubarak, which Robodoba does favor a fair bit, and then we have to look towards a second DPS, or if they want to go towards that, if they want to just maybe lock in a triple warrior composition. And it is actually going to be that. It's going to be the Tyrael and the Diablo, so going a bit of supporting and a little bit of damage here and there in those heroes that can really help out in those extended fights. The Tyrael, we haven't seen it in a bit ever since the changes to him. He did get some spell armor, so he will be able to deal a little bit with the mages, but it is going to be a bit of an interesting pick with the Tyrael, but it's actually going to be the Reyna that's going to round out the composition. So they don't have the Valor to pair with the Tassadar, but they are going to go with the Reyna, another auto attack based hero who can get a lot of value with the Tassadar, and they'll have to be relying on that hero for a lot of their consistent damage. But with the triple warrior, we'll have to see if they're able to deal with it in those extended fights. I mean, the Reyna can get what is it? I completely blanked on the name of the ability of the talent at level 13, where you do so much auto attack based damage. I just completely blanked on it, but we'll get to that as we get later into the game. We are going to be getting into the final game of the night. It is Nomia versus the Lleyton Hewitt fan club on Dragonshire.
Prepare for combat.
Alrighty, on the blue it is Nomia as per usual. We have Fat94 on the Xayah, John on Valor, Vanilla on Oriole, Robodoba on the Diablo, and Arcana on the Tyrael. And on the red side we have the Lleyton Hewitt fan club. We have Zeth on Muradin, we have Godzilla on Ragnaros against Time on Malfurion, Bizix on Reyna, and Jadi on the Tassadar.
5, 4, 3,
Alright,
2,
so coming into this game, I mean, I did mention that Tassadar did kind of fall off a bit after his minor rework, but he did see a little bit of play over in China over the past day. I mean, the HDC for China started last night, and we did see a Tyrael picked up, and it was a very intriguing build. It went very aggressive, auto attack talents at 7 and 13, really wanted to apply a lot of pressure, but also taking the judgment, not wanting that sanctification to help out in teamfights. So we have to see if that's the path that this Tyrael will go. It does have it. Standard purge evil at level 1, so not too different just yet, but we are going to get a bit of a level 1 skirmish as Zeth is going to go very far forward, but does have the dwarf toss to get himself out, but physics does take a decent amount of damage. Actually, Zeth taking a lot, as a lot of the damage coming through his Fat does have a lot of energy coming out of the Xayah, managing to stack that up with the multiple warriors standing at the front line, able to soak a lot of damage and also get those shields going very early on, as we do have Arcana up against Godzilla on the top side, and Arcana very aggressive with this Tyrael, as you see on the bottom side of the map. Robodoba trying to cut off any of the rotations from the Hewitt fan club, but this is going to allow them to really control this center of the map, as they are just going to be pushing on the bottom side of the map. Fat94 on the Xayah, I mean, this is one of the things that you can do with the Xayah. You can tank these tower bolts and also just turn it around on them and apply a lot of pressure in the lane, as we do have a bit of a rotation come down. There's a lovely detainment strike, manages to knock Zeth away from Fat94. He does get stunned and locked down as the damage is starting to come through. The shields are there, and it looks like he's going to fall. He does end up going down. Against Time, he's going to be the target. In return, though, they take down the Malfurion. It looks like the fight is going to keep on going. Zeth is still sticking around, but he's very low. The shields coming out from the Tassadar are not going to be all that much use on him. if he wants to try and sustain himself up, but John going very far forward to try and take down Physics. He does manage to finish him off. The support was just not there in time, as Noah is very much in position to try and help out John if he gets caught out, but Entertainment Strike lands and it hits Jaddy into the wall. As Zeth is going to be the next target. They're just sticking around a little bit too long, as John is just so incredibly confident on this Valor and just outputting so much damage. It's very hard for the Hewitt fan club to actually deal with at this point in time. And this is just going to allow Nomia to continually apply pressure. They take down those two towns and they're just going to keep on pushing. There's no one around to try and stop them. As again, another burst coming out from the Valor. Doing so much work, it's very hard for them to deal with just yet. As now with the rotation coming down on the side of the Hewitt fan club, they are going to force Nomia back, but the two shrines are going to be held by Nomia, and this should give time over to the Diablo to pick it up. Fat 94 is going to be the first target coming in from the Hewitt fan club. He does get the shields out, he will go down very soon. He actually gets the shields out just in time, as here comes the Diablo to try and help out. They manage to take him down, and the fight is going over to Nomia in the end. John doesn't actually get taken out by the Rainer, and the fight is just, it looks so good for the Hewitt fan club, but it's just going to get turned around. Here comes Godzilla on the Ragnar to try and help out on the side, but in the end it's going to be a 4-0 over to Nomia. For quite a lot of that, it looked like Fat 94 was going to go down, but just great timing of the shields and the heals to keep him alive just enough. And also throughout all of that, Arcana was able to grab that top shrine and also had the time to move down and pick up that Dragonite, so he'll be pushing in, trying to get some structures here and there, just continuing to push forward with their advantage. They're still pushing on the bottom side. They take down that fort. They've already got a 2-level advantage. Fatman 4 is playing very aggressive with the positioning. He's been knocked down a few times and he's gone down once and gone very low another, but still very confident with his positioning, confident in the rest of his team that they'll be able to help him out of trouble. This in the rotation, they get very aggressive onto Zeth, but they managed to dwarf toss himself out of there, so they are just going to be playing aggressive. Zeth is going to being taken quite low, but with all the shields and heals coming over time, it's going to be fine in the end, as John is playing so very aggressively in this game, as the Diablo does go charging in, does block down Physics, but does manage to walk himself away, as the Tasman is just getting hit by the multi-shot, and he is going to go down. There's one more grenade coming out of the Zaya, should do it, as against time does manage to get the heal onto himself, manages to survive, but he is forced back. This is going to force the structure to go down for Nomia. They are going to go very heavy onto the members of the Hewitt fan club. Mirrodin steps a little bit too far forward, it gets charged against the wall. Robodover manages to finish that off, and that's a very low forward on the in the mid lane for the Hewitt fan club, and it shouldn't take too much effort, too much pushing from the side of Nomia to take that down. They do manage to do it, as Physics is going to get caught out. The Determined Strike doesn't land, so that's just going to allow him to live. If he got hit there, probably would have spelled his demise, but manages to dodge that, and still its advantage is going very, very much over to the side of Nomia. As they have level 10, whereas the Hewitt fan club, they're only just now hitting level 7, so they are incredibly far behind at this point. It is going to be the Sanctification onto the Tira, so a bit more of the classic build. No Chinese shenanigans coming out of Arcana. But wow, what an incredibly dominant start to this game for Nomia. There's a few fights here and there where it looked like it was going to go south, but just with this multi-warrior composition, and with all the shields and the heals coming out from the Zaya and also the Oriole, they're able to stick around in these fights. It's so obnoxious and do so much damage, and John is absolutely having a field day on this battle. He's able to play so aggressively, and he's not really at any risk of being taken out just yet. He's doing just fine and doing all the damage he needs to do. Is he's going to get taking a bit of the aggression, but the fighters, they are really out of position, as against time gets hit with the expulsion zone. He will fall first, as the lightning breath is actually going to be used by the Diablo to force away the members of the Hewitt fan club. John is going forward. He does manage to take down the Ragnaros. He's going to keep on pushing forward. It's a nice kill coming out there, as they do get the slam onto the Tazadai. He does fall, and now it's just going to allow them to keep on pushing. Fat 94 is on his own in the bottom lane, but he's going to take a fair bit of damage. Physics is taking a chunk out of Ben, but he's going to have the support from Robodova. Now they're going to try and turn this around. Zeth gets slammed just outside of the range of the wall, but he is going to fall. Doesn't have enough to keep himself alive. Against time was not there to help him in time either, and here comes the support from the rest of Nomia. They go to keep on applying pressure. Fat 94 is the only one who's really at danger of being picked off, but he's playing very safe and has all the healing, and the multi-core does get popped, and that is just going to force Nomia to back away for just a little bit. They don't want to get over aggressive and get caught out by a Molten Swing into the follow-up from the Hewitt fan club. But as they are not even close to level 10, that's the one thing that they don't have to worry about. They don't have to worry about the Molten Swing into the Sulfurious Smash. So they are very comfortable playing around. As Fat 94 is taking a fair bit of damage, but he is going to get the Crystal Aegis to keep himself alive just a little bit longer. The damage coming out from John on the Valor is going to be able to keep himself alive, but they do manage to take him down. The damage from Physics and the lockdown from the Murder is going to be enough. But is it going to be able to turn these fights? Physics is the next target. He does have the Adrenaline Rush to keep himself alive, just a little bit longer, but he is going to get taken down. And even though their Assassin has gone down in the Valor, Nomia is still able to keep on applying so much pressure with this triple warrior. And Desire with consistently high energy, the amount of damage coming out of this composition is surprisingly or just unexpectedly high. And also with the level lead and so much advantages going over to the side of Nomia, it's very hard for the Hewitt fan club to actually deal with it. Fat 94 playing on the front line, not scared at all about what the Hewitt fan club can return onto him, as Vanilla is also playing very aggressive. Level 10 has not been picked up just yet. It's so very close, as meanwhile in the middle lane we have Arcana pushing in with the Dragon Knight as level 10 does get hit. The Hyperion does come out, but the Rangers gets taken down immediately. The Archon has been caught, but it's not able to get too much done, as the rest of the members of the Hewitt fan club are trying to hold on to this game. Robodova is going to be taken down very low. The Twilight Dream does get used, but the silence is not going to be enough, as the rest of the team is just not in position to do the damage. The Dragon Knight does punt away the Tacita, and it's going to move onto this call. The Murder does fall. John has returned to the fight. He's going to take a bit of damage, but he should be fine. And this is going to be an incredibly quick game going over to Nomia, as the Sanctification was popped for the first time in this game, and that is going to be an incredibly fast game going over to Nomia. It was only 8 minutes and 41 seconds. GG.